2020s.
Oh God. What up, Drop Shots?
Not much, Tiz, not much. Been on the grind. What's up with you?
Nothing much to do. I've actually been doing a lot of research about this very interesting story I came across the other day. Um,
Oh yeah,
I
let me
mean,
hear it.
hopefully a lot of people, I guess a lot of people find this interesting, but it's about aliens, bro. Dude, I I was in like a fucking rabbit hole on YouTube, right? So like I was on YouTube the other day, and then I came across this video. It's called "How the Ancient Egypt Used to Look Like." So I clicked on it, not knowing what it would lead me into. Um, well, first of all, Egypt used. Did you know that the pyramids used to be very smooth and white?
I have actually heard that. I was watched some. It was just the other day. I saw on Twitter that yeah they um smooth and white, and then what is it? Just erosion that's corroding them down over time?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's corrosion and like the rain and also the pollution of the city. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, cause for all my life I thought the pyramids were actually closer to the city, but it actually wasn't. Or the pyramids are actually further from the city. Is what I meant, but it actually isn't. It's really really close to the city. So like the pollution and all the erosion and all that stuff just made all the limestone, the materials that they smooth out the pyramids with. Yeah, it just destroyed all of that over time. And now they only have like the tip left. I don't know what the tip is made of. I'm pretty sure it's gold. It looks to be gold when I saw it in the video. Um, but yeah, the only the tips of all the pyramids are like still standing.
Yeah, are they're all gold tips of them?
I think so. Yeah, and I think the point of that is to like one, definitely to show like they're wealthy, you know, and the other reason was so that the pyramids could be seen from like far away when you're in the desert, because this definitely used to be in the middle of the desert before like villages and all that stuff started to build like form around the pyramids, and that's why it became like the city of Kafar, I think, today.
Oh yeah. So is it just the Great Pyramids that have gold on them, or is this not even the Great Pyramids?
Well, there's only one Great Pyramid, and the other two are just like smaller pyramids. But no,
Ah,
yeah, actually, it's all of them that have the gold tip. Okay, I want to take back my answer for the city that's nearby. I actually don't remember the name, but yeah. Well, anyways, yeah. So
it's
like
Giza,
they
isn't it? The pyramids of Giza? Is that not right?
think so, dude. I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. Continue.
Yeah, yeah. So like I was reading that. Um, well, no, I was watching the video that was like how it used to look like, and then not only that, in that video did it tell me like how it used to look like. It was actually like a video about how it was built and all that stuff too, and or how they believed it was built actually. So like, what they believe was that they hired um, workers. The pyramids was not built by slaves. I think that's the point of that story. But yeah, so they hired some workers, and they were highly skilled workers that know how to cut stone from quarries, that have the knowledge about the technology, and have the strength to like actually move these fucking stones into place. You know, so like um, that's how it was possible because even though you have like a 1,000 slaves compared to 100 skilled workers, you wouldn't get much done as the skilled workers would. So like that's what they believe was how it was made. And so
Ah,
yeah, but the biggest mystery still stands, or is still there. Like, how did they move all these stones, you know, to the site? Because one, there were 2.3 million stones. That's a lot of fucking stones they had to move, and well, I mean, fair enough. This like it took them 20 years to build the pyramid. Fair enough, but 2.3 million stones, and they're big, heavy stones. That's I don't know if that's possible for like even if you have highly skilled workers, you know.
Yeah, that sounds extremely difficult. I mean, they're like, multiple tons each one weighs
Yeah,
and moving.
the
I mean,
average
it's 2.3 million.
yeah, the average weight for the stones is 2.5 tons, I think. But some of the stones are big enough to be like weighted at 70 tons or something like that. It's crazy. That's one interesting thing. Like the size of the stones, how they were like moved to there. Like we still don't know how they were transported and all that stuff. But there are also stuff like the size or the alignment of the pyramids, the shape of the pyramids, and how like they shape that, and all of the maths that go into the construction of these pyramids are just insane.
Yeah. So what is this alignment that you're talking about?
Well,
Like just how even they are?
no, it's not how even they are. So like, I mean, the position has changed a little bit now because it's been so long in history. But back when it was first built, the pyramids were actually aligned with the constellation of Orion, and the three pyramids were actually the stars of the Orion's belt. So, um, the alignment of that is just crazy, right? Because I mean, back let's say 4,000 years ago, or something like that, that the pyramids were built. The the astronomy and all that stuff wasn't, or the technology about astronomy and all that stuff is not as advanced as it is today. So like, yeah, that we still don't know if it's the highly skilled workers or these knowledgeable people that they hired there, um, if it was actually their job, or did they have the technology or the knowledge for that. Like we don't know. um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So you said this had something to do with aliens. Then you told me about these pyramids and skilled workers. And the aliens coming in.
Yo, okay. For, for the calculations and all that stuff to be so exact and so like, I don't know. It's just like, it's hard to say, man. But I don't think it's possible. I just don't think it's possible for the workers to be behind all of this construction. The architects and all that stuff. There's no way we don't have the technology back then. Like, there's just no way. But then again, like there was this one video I also watched. There were like pretty much debunking, or yeah, I don't know if that's a word. The idea that aliens actually helped build the pyramids. So basically, uh, they were saying that yes, it's true that we don't have the technology back then, but it's also true that we don't know what they have back then, right? So like,
Yeah.
we went, like our current generation went from fucking not having internet to having internet, but and then to having a computer, and now like fucking self-driving cars now in a matter of like what 300 years. So what they believe is that, um, what they believe is that back in 4,000 years, like 4,000 years ago, they had some crazy advanced technology for that time period, but it was somehow lost in history. So that's why like we never know, like, yeah.
See. Okay, so I guess to get it all together then, so we're ruling out the possibility. Lots of people claim aliens built the pyramid, but
Right.
it sounds to me like you've got some pretty solid evidence saying that that is not true. Aliens were not building pyramids out here.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Um, but
But then,
I still think that the aliens have some like they got some assistance from the aliens because one, um, I also read about this the other day after I went down that rabbit hole on YouTube. I I came across this um, journal. It was a scholarly journal. So like they were talking about pyramids on Mars. So I was really interested. Like I was baited into it. So I clicked on it and it was like, so they found these structures that are on Mars, and the geometry of these structures are like perfect. You know, like it's really hard to believe that like Mother Nature did that. You know, so and they're just on Mars, and I don't believe any of them align to the pyramids that we have here on Earth, but the size and the way it was built, or not the way it was built, but the size and the geometry and everything just align perfectly to what we have here on Earth. And not only that, they also found, so our pyramids are four sided, right? They found one that was five sided, so it was pretty insane. Like,
Mars?
yeah, on Mars. So it was hard to like really believe that like Mother Nature built that.
Yeah, I had no idea that there were pyramids on Mars. This is the first I've ever heard that. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think Mother Nature could be out here building pyramids. Like, yeah,
Right.
erosion does, wear things down. It could make a pyramid shape, but if it's any kind, I mean, this erosion could be smooth too, but chances are pretty low. Uh, yeah, what's your overall opinion then? Like, you just kind of started talking about the pyramids. So I guess it sounds like you do think that aliens exist and have come to visit here on Earth.
Right. Well, before we get to that, I do want to point out that okay, I have a picture of it pulled up here. The angles of the of the five sided pyramid. All right, listen to this. That angle A, it's 60 degrees, right? Angle B, it's 120 degrees. Angle C, 85.3 degrees. Angle D, 69 degrees. We're starting to see a pattern. We're starting to see a pattern here. Like it goes up every 60, right? And that's like almost perfect. So that's pretty
So,
insane.
like I think that maybe the aliens have a sense of humor and laughed as well when they made the 69 angled
No,
side
dude.
of the pyramid. Uh,
No.
but yeah, I think that is crazy. Like the odds of there being these pyramids on that planet with it having, that shape and then the symmetry that you were talking about, really to me points to like there was some ETs out there.
Yeah. Like, well, you mentioned you earlier before we started. Like, there was a database that you read. You want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So we had kind of had the idea that we were wanting to talk about some aliens, and so uh, I do a lot of research. So I took some time to pull up some papers, trying to find some scientific evidence on the aliens, and so let me drop some cool facts on you, Leo. Lots of people are curious as to how we can someday find life and know that there's life out there, and what are the possibilities for that? Like, what are we actually looking for? So, from a possibility standpoint, like just pure numbers, right? They gotta be there. Like, there's so many planets, so many different galaxies, suns, stars, whatever. And then the question is, what are we looking for? And so, the first paper I found is in this article this journal called New Astronomy Reviews. It came out just last year actually, in 2021. So pretty new research coming out. And so I'm gonna try to put this in pretty general terms. Essentially, um, basic molecules that you're gonna find on a planet are gonna be symmetrical because it's most stable that way, and it's uh, like just the simplest molecules that can form are these symmetrical molecules. And so complex life forms like humans and animals and even bacterias and viruses too. Viruses aren't life, but whatever, different topic. But have lots of achiral molecules in their body. So these molecules that are not symmetrical. And so essentially, what this paper is doing is saying that if you can go up in outer space and go to other planets and places that you think that extraterrestrials could be, and if you search the soil or you search the air, you search, I guess, whatever samples you could take, you find these molecules that are not symmetrical. It's telling you that those could only arise through evolution. And so, whatever, they take these samples and they're trying to find these molecules that are not symmetrical. So, we do have like a scientific basis for what we could be out there looking for with life.
That's crazy. All right, dude. If we go back to the like what structures are like this human getting assistance from aliens for like architecture and all that stuff. There was this video I watched about the seven wonders of the world. So the pyramids are definitely one that I think was like the aliens gave assistance to the humans to build that, right? And so the other one that we have on Earth, it's actually called Ankor Wat. Have you ever heard of that before? Ankor Wat?
No, I've never heard of that.
All right, so Angkor Wat is one of the seven wonders of the world. It's a temple that's in Cambodia, I think, and it used to be a base for like the whatever back in the days when they had crazy warriors and all that stuff. It used to be a kingdom basically, and these were like the the guards, I guess. Yeah, the base for the guards, I guess, for the city of the kingdom. And Angkor Wat is the biggest one of those structures that are left behind. Um, so the video that I watched, well, they basically suggest that living things tend to have these feelings of missing their home whenever they come to visit Earth. So that adds to the idea of aliens coming to visit Earth as well. Um, so like yeah, after a certain time period, that's what they feel. And so they
I think I missed something. So how do we know the aliens are missing home?
yeah, so like that this structure that they built uh it aligns with their birth stars basically is what this video was trying to say. And the example that they used was Angkor Wat, which aligns with a lot of stars that are in the Draco constellation. And there's a picture of the Draco constellation, and also the map of Angkor Wat as well that they provided. And then you can see that the pins that are on the picture align with the stars of the constellation. So that's pretty crazy. Um, and then I don't remember if it was the biggest part of the Angkor Wat that aligns with the brightest star of the Draco constellation too. So that's pretty cool. And then there was they showed a picture of the Angkor Wat, the biggest temple, and it looked like a space station. It doesn't look like any structure that we would have um, in
Yeah,
Asia like that. Yeah,
yeah, definitely not. You would think back then.
yeah. So and like some of the the parts of the structure look so difficult to even recreate. So like back in the days, how did they have the technology as well to do that? You know?
Let me ask you this, Leo. You might not know the answer to it. Can you see those stars from Earth without a telescope?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can. Damn, I was about to say if like you can't see those without a telescope, telescopes were not invented back then, unless like whatever they had them that we didn't know about. But yeah, I guess you can see them from Earth. That doesn't make it quite as crazy.
Well,
But yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So when I say you can see it from a telescope, I meant like or without a telescope. What I meant is that we can do it now. Like we can see it with our eyes without a telescope. But back in the days, the stars didn't used to look like this, or didn't used to be this close to Earth. Because the galaxy is always expanding, and I guess they expanded closer to us. I don't know, but yeah, it back in maybe I don't remember how long ago Angkor Wat was built. Um, I, yeah, they mentioned it, but I definitely don't remember. It's probably like I want to say 1,000 years, but it could be more. But yeah, like back then, the stars didn't used to be this close to us. So um, I don't know, man. It's just
Yeah.
it's just what yeah I found.
Yeah, I see. So, yeah, I've heard lots of stuff of them thinking that like whatever if they're well, I guess not reputable sources, but lots of people think that if there are aliens, they could be from um, the draconian galaxy that you said. So
Yeah,
those ancient structures lining up with constellations from their galaxy, dude. I would imagine that alien is missing home, is
yeah,
wanting to get a space station back.
that's true. Um, yeah, and then you mentioned like why I believe aliens have visited Earth. Um, just to add a little to that, I actually this was a few years ago. Actually, I watched this video of like um, it was a security footage of these two gentlemen dressed exactly alike, look sort of similar. You can't really see the face, but look sort of similar. Same height, same body, physique, and everything like that. Walking into a hotel, and the story, like the background story of that is actually, um, I think a few days before, the day before, I don't remember for sure, but this hotel manager, his name is Shane Silvar, and one of the workers there, the other hotel staff that's there, they saw this triangular shape flying across the sky, and I, I think they were telling people about that, and the next day, these two gentlemen that they caught on the security footage came to investigate, and they were asking specifically for Shane Sovar and this other hotel staff's name, or I don't remember his name. They were just asking for these two guys. So like, I think either the government's trying to cover something up, or there's this secret agency that we you probably have heard of. It's been made into a movie, the Men in Black. Um, and the way to describe these men, it's fitting to be called the Men in Black. So that's why
Yeah.
I think the aliens have definitely visited Earth, and yeah, maybe they're trying to fucking cover something up, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking, I think the government surely has to be covering stuff up, right? Like, Roswell, the Roswell incident.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Leo, you live in Vegas now, dog. You have to go out to Roswell. It's in New Mexico, so whatever. It's gonna be a bit of a drive. Go out there. So this was back. I guess it would have been in the 40s. I could probably have the date wrong, but whatever. Around that time period, there was this like alien crash, this supposed like UFO crash, and cover up by the government and whatever. Supposedly they recovered alien bodies. That's like one of the biggest incidents in the U.S. Of aliens, and what really sparked like the idea that aliens have come here, and the idea
Really?
of Area 51. Yeah, yeah, the Roswell incident is huge, and so that's what sparked Area 51
Yeah.
as we know it now. Then, do you know who Bob Lazar is?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, Leah, you told me you were researching aliens, dog. You were just looking at pyramids the whole time. All right,
Nah.
so Bob Lazar is this dude. Um, he didn't work at Area 51. He started as a researcher at some other base nearby. The name is slipping my mind right now. But essentially, he was hired by the government to be a researcher, and he came out saying that like he worked on UFO crafts and saw lots of technology that couldn't be possible here, like with what we have, and lots of other stuff saying that they had aliens and whatnot. And so he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's where all my information about him comes from.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, he was saying, well, okay, so I'll tell you what he was saying first, and I guess I was saying that. So yeah, he was saying that they had like devices that could control gravity. So there's nothing that we have like we can't do. We like know what gravity is. We have formulas for it, know things about it, but we can't like do anything with gravity, you know. And so he was claiming that they have these devices that can control gravity and oh fuck, I can't remember the other thing he was saying, but whatever. He had this other specific device that he was talking about. And he was saying that they have aliens. So whatever, you think this could be just some wacko nut job? Like, who's to say that I don't go out and say all this shit? Like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Who is he? So prove his credibility. All right, like he had like he definitely worked at that place like with the job that he said he worked, and the government like he was coming out saying all this thing, they first tried to deny that he worked there. They were like, no, that dude never worked here. Like, he's a wacko, whatever. Turns out he did work there. He did have the job that he said he did. All right, that's suspect. And he was like claiming that they had, um, there was lots of technologies that like he said they had that were confirmed. And so the one that I specifically remember was this hand scanner that he said that like whatever you had to scan to get in, and like whatever they went and checked, boom, it was there. And so um oh God, I can't remember the other thing, but yeah, essentially he was this dude that worked at not Area 51 but at a nearby military base that's
Mm-hmm.
come out and like said that they have aliens and alien technology there.
Yeah. So does that make you like believe that maybe the government has been trying to cover something up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty damning evidence, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's come out and said it. He hasn't gained anything from doing this. Like, he's lost a lot of things, I would say. And he's had the same story for years and years now. Uh, so that's pretty damning evidence. At the same time, Neil deGrasse Tyson's evidence or argument does also pose a like pretty serious argument against aliens visiting us. Is that if you get on the internet, you can find a video of anything you can think of, you can find a video. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like the craziest like odds are so low, but if someone's captured it on video, you cannot find one single high quality video of a UFO or an alien. Not a single one. And like everyone has cameras all the time, like their iPhones, and there's all these reports about people seeing them, but there's not one single legitimate high quality video out there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty suspect, right? Like you would think that all right, one person would catch a video, but all right, counter argument to that. If aliens have good enough technology to get here, they have good enough technology to avoid your silly little camera. It's my
Yeah.
counter.
Yeah. Also, my counterpoint to that is maybe like this might be dumb, but some of the videos that were posted, it seemed like they were zooming in. So when you zoom in, like you don't get the high quality, I guess. But I don't
Do
know. But yeah, well, speaking of the government trying to cover something up, I feel like the U.S. government specifically is trying to cover something up, but there is a Canadian. He's a former Canadian defense minister, I think. Yeah, he claims that aliens are real, and actually there is a humanoid type that live among us. They're called the tall whites. So he was a fucking defense minister for Canadian or for Canada, um, and the fact that he comes out and says that after he was, I don't know, or I think it was during when he was in office, or still like the defense minister, I guess. He was saying that yeah, there are definitely fucking aliens living among us, and there are at least two types that are living among us. One is called the tall whites, and the other one he doesn't know. Well, he knows, but I don't remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty substantial evidence when like a government official
Yeah.
comes out and says it. And like I mean to that, Trump didn't directly come out and say that he was briefed on we had aliens, but he made like a space agency department of the military. What the hell's that all about? We don't even go to space.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's that necessary for?
That's true. Holy fuck.
So let
Oh.
me ask you this, Leo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so let me ask you this, Leo. You think aliens have whatever might have visited, could be here? What do you think their intentions are? Think they're nefarious? Do you
Uh,
think they're pure?
I don't know, dude. I think. I mean, okay. Let me ask you this first before I answer you. Um, wouldn't like you as a human? Wouldn't you like want to go out in space to travel or to travel to explore new planets? Like, wouldn't you be bored? Like, if you had to stay here for the rest of your life, if you had the option to leave and go explore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to. I think humans as a whole, right? We're trying to leave this planet. We just don't have quite the technology and the resources. But yeah, I would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer. Like, yeah, I would want to leave the my planet to go explore other planets and other stars and see what they have that we don't have. Back at home, back on our planet. So I would definitely want to do that. And I think that's like their intention is just travel to see what we have, collect the samples that we have, take it back to wherever they're from. So I don't know, man. I just believe that the technology that they have definitely allowed them to do that. We're just not there yet, you know. And
Yeah.
and I think the
So
reason that like why they don't interfere with what we're doing or destroy us right away when they see us is because they don't know enough about us. Like they know a pretty good deal, but not enough. They don't know what we have that could destroy them. Like we're playing pretty much we're playing the bluffing game. Like we like we don't they don't know what we have. We don't know what they have. So we don't interfere with each other. And also like let's say you were just traveling, like minding your own thing, are you just gonna randomly harm like whatever you see that's in your path? No, right? Like you need to fucking study your enemy first or your opponent first. So that's why like they visited us. They're pure because they have no reason to destroy us yet, basically.
all right, I have some disagreements with your statements.
Okay.
So I guess one the idea, like I get that whenever you, Leo, might visit somewhere and not have any ill intentions. Humans as a whole, when we go visit places, fuck that shit up. Right? Like, go somewhere where a million tourists have been. What is it like for the natural life there and the environment and stuff? Even if it's completely unintentional, it's humans just destroy and ruin things in life.
Yeah,
And so
that's
I
true.
think the idea that they're just coming to visit, although yeah, they might be good because of that, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to destroy us in the process because they're just careless and don't care about our planet because they can go back to theirs and don't have to deal with the issues. So, but whatever, they might be chill with that. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but I don't think that we can completely trust them if they're just visitors. Other thing um, was that I think that if they're able to come visit us, they can travel across space and they have good enough technology to do that. They don't have any kind of fear of what we have. Like,
Yeah.
dude, any technology that can get you through space across a galaxy to here, dude, you're dwarfing everything we have and they know it.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think that if they, like obviously we're not out here getting destroyed by aliens, so that's not what's going on. I agree. Surely they have to be friendly, right? Like we're not out here getting massacred, but at the same time, lots of people do go missing every year.
Yeah,
Perhaps,
that is
perhaps
true.
aliens are coming out here and
That is
snatching
true.
a little up here and there. Uh, so maybe they're not evil in the sense that they're going to destroy everything, but perhaps you don't want to get caught lurking in the dark with one of these bad boys.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. But oh yeah, to add to that, I actually remember this story that um, this guy, I think he was just taking a walk in the woods or he was driving or something like that, and he sees this something following him, but not on in the like not on the road. It was actually in the sky, so he stopped to go out and look at what it was, and it was actually a UFO. As soon as he saw it, there was a beam of light that just hit him, well, which knocked him unconscious basically. And when he woke up, he was he remembered that there were like three green-looking creatures. This is what he was describing, and the next thing he remembers is that he blacks out again, and then he was back to where his car was parked whenever he got out to see what it was. And then he definitely reported it immediately reported it to the police station, which of course they thought he was a fucking liar and just a joke. And like they didn't really take him seriously until he went on a talk show and talked about it and made it pretty much public. And so like this talk show provided him a lie detector test in which he passed every single questions that they asked him, like about that night, that story that happened, you know. So I think, although I'm saying that their intentions are pure, we don't know what they're trying to take from us and like what they're doing with all these abductions. So
Yeah, right. Like how do they view humans? Because if they view humans the way we view lab rats, I promise you don't want to get caught with them. You don't
yeah,
want to get abducted, and you're not gonna have a fun time. Uh, but you do hear all these people that like for whatever report their abductions, and they come back unscathed. They just have like a weird loss of time,
yeah,
like that they don't know what happened.
that's true. And um, I think there was another story I remember about the abduction. There was this girl. I don't remember where this story was, right? But there was this girl. She was sleeping in her bunk bed, and her sister was sleeping under her. And then there was this one night they already fell asleep, but the sister heard like a loud banging noise and a shattered glass. So she woke up to see what it was, and then her sister was missing. So then they went to tell, or she went to tell her parents that her sister is missing, and so they were looking all over for her, and somehow like she just got back in her bed, and like nothing happened pretty much. So the sister that was asleep and saw that her sister was missing, the first sister, she went and told a story like to her parents what happened, and she said that she heard glass break, and then she looked out the window, and the bush that was right outside her window had these like burn on them, like they were caught on fire basically. And so as soon as she saw that, she went out to see or to tell her parents about her sister missing. And now we got the story of the sister that was abducted too. Like she was talking on the talk show, and basically what she described, her experience was pretty much identical to the guy that I talked about earlier. When she woke up, she saw green creatures, and then she blacks out, and then she was back into her bed. But um, she said that the room that she was in was cold, and it was like there was so much technology, so she saw a little more than the first guy did. Um, yeah, so that's crazy. Like these abduction stories that keep coming up, and they were describing same experiences that they had, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of the abductions, see, like at least what I've looked into as well, seem to have the same story across them. Um, but then I guess whatever people might hear it and say it, but yeah, it certainly makes it sound convincing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a weird question, Leo.
All right.
Do you think the aliens could be us from the future, coming back to visit and see what life was like back in
Yo.
the 2020s?
Oh God. That's
See what human life was like back in 2020, 2021, 2022. Because, what if, the year's 4000, we've evolved so much, and these humans in the year 4000 want to learn about where they came from and what life was like back then for ancient people in the year 2000. They get in their time machines, little
dude.
spaceships, and they travel back to come and watch and see what life was like.
That is that is very very crazy to think about actually. Like because this ties into another theory that we'll talk about more about later on, but the theory of simulation, that we live in a simulation, you know? Because sometimes I would get these weird fucking deja vu moments, you know? Like just yesterday I got these deja vu moments that I remember happened like last week or a week before that. So like yeah, I think that aliens could be us from the future. They just came to visit and
Yeah.
took back what they used to have, dude. Like bro, dude, that's crazy. That's so crazy to think about, actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's something, I don't know how realistic that scenario is, but something a little mind trick to think about. Um, Shit, I had another question I was gonna ask you, but it's slipping my mind.
Gotta
Have
think about that. All right, got it.
have you seen the um stuff that the Navy came out with, those Navy videos, the little
Um,
UFO shift?
are you talking about the ones that they caught like something when they were patrolling, and then they saw like something moving really fast, and they caught it? Is that
Yeah,
the one you're talking
yeah,
about?
back in like 2020.
Yeah. So, dude, I don't know if this is the same story, but if it's not, it's just another like a support for this theory that aliens are visiting us. But there was this one video I watched. It was also a Navy guy. He was a Navy pilot, and then he and his um, comrade saw uh, this object that's in water, but it looked like it was either hover it was either hovering or it was coming up to the surface like really fast. So like they flew closer to see what it was, and when as soon as they flew closer, it's like the object knew that they were there, like they noticed them, and so the object that was in the water suddenly just pushed itself through the water, out of the water, and disappeared. And so like every time these guys go out to patrol, like the Navy pilots go out to patrol, they have people back on the ships like doing these scans, like pretty much like a UAV to see what's if there are enemies nearby, whatever. And they caught this ship that they were describing about 60 miles from where they were, and which like they didn't see this thing disappear. It just evaporated. Like the pilots, what they saw was like these clips or these um, objects just evaporated, and to for it to appear 60 miles in a matter of 3 seconds away from them, dude, that's no, there's no way. That's just like because we don't have the technology yet, you know, to for a vehicle or transportation to move like that fast in that little time. So
Yeah, I think that's what, like, all those, pretty much all the people who have seen them recently, and military people, the Navy videos, whatever, say that, yeah, they have this, the technology moves way too fast than anything that we could have.
right, and the video that you were talking about, like you can see from it like that it's moving really really fast, and yeah, we don't have anything that moves that fast yet, you know.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Leo. Do you think that the aliens could live under the sea? So we've only explored like whatever 2% of the oceans, very small amount. We've explored more of outer space than we have of the ocean. We haven't seen any aliens in outer space. We haven't explored anything of the oceans, and all these Navy videos and whatever, they see
Yeah.
the ships come up out of the water.
Right, like
So
the one
he
I
used to
was
say
talking
there's
about.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to say there's not a civilization deep down there on the ocean floor. And
Yeah.
that's just like, dude, avoiding the madness that is up here on the surface.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible that aliens live under the ocean because, like you said, we have only explored a very very tiny amount of the ocean, right? And then there are also sometimes like I don't know if this makes sense, but they have found parts of the UFO that's um, wash ashore, you know. So like they have to be in the ocean for it to be destroyed. There's no way that we have the technology to even or the weapon to even destroy a UFO yet. I don't think. So for it to wash ashore, I think they might have to be living in the ocean. Um, I think
Yeah,
personally. I don't know.
that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely pretty crazy. And also like the desert and all that stuff here in Vegas and the Dead Valley, all the Area 51 used to be underwater, isn't it? And they found all this crashed UFO like parts and stuff.
Um, Perhaps. I mean, I don't know for sure, but yeah. I mean, if it's like a valley, then like it probably was underwater at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I I have this story that I read too. It's about. It goes back to the idea of that the government is trying to cover something up with the secret agency they came up with. You know, the Men in Black. So there was this one astronomy professor. He and his wife were studying about UFOs and like all these sightings that people have reported over the years. So with this, there was this reporting. I think it was in the Netherlands or Ireland. I don't remember one of those. Or Australia, it could be. I don't remember what the country was, but they saw these UFOs like hovering over the beach or the ocean, and like yeah. So he was pinpointing the time, the date on the calendar, of which these sightings can be seen. You know, so basically he's been seeing it like twice in a row or three times in a row, whatever, because he knows now like when they're coming up or when they're showing. You know, so like he wrote about that in his journal, and like a few days later after these sightings and all these like journal entry things that he does, or like he was trying to make this like a public notice, I guess. There was this phone call that he got when he was home alone, and when he answered, there was this guy claiming to be a government agent, and he wants to talk about, or no, he didn't claim to be a government agent. My bad. He was claiming to be one follower of his that is very interested in this story, you know? And so, like, he was saying, the guy on the phone said that, may we chat, like, maybe chat face to face because I want to know about this stuff. And the professor pretty much agreed to it. And he didn't even have time to, like, say anything else. The phone hung up, and there was a knock on his door downstairs in his apartment. So he hung up the phone. Before he went and opened his bedroom door. He heard people like footsteps coming up on his staircase. So like he was already shocked, you know, like because it happened in a matter of seconds. Like the phone call, the guy said, uh, the professor agreed to it. The phone hangs up. The door is not knocked, and then the footsteps on his staircase. Like it happened all in a matter of seconds. So like, um, he was shocked, of course, and then the door swung open, and what he saw was this gentleman wearing what he described as a black suit with black necktie, um, a fedora or a hat, yeah, some type of hat. And he described his face as pale skin, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, which is crazy because the hotel staff in the story of Shane Stovar also described the same things that they saw, were black suit, black tie, pale skin, no eyebrows, no eyelash, and a hat. So like the description were the exact same. Um, yeah, and so the professor was basically told not to spread these rumors or make this public, and um, yeah, so like the government agent said that or threatened him that if he wants his wife to come home looking as pretty as she did leaving the house, then he would be quiet about this. Basically, yeah, that's what they
Yeah,
said. I mean,
pretty intense.
it's very intense. Yeah, but I think yeah, aliens are fucking. I think they're real, Ryan. I don't know, man.
I think so too. I think so too. So I'm getting kind of tired, Leo. So I'm gonna ask you one more question.
All right.
I think is an important question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had any experiences with aliens?
Have I ever had experience with aliens? Actually, yes, I have actually. It wasn't anything like crazy. It was just something that I saw like with a quick glimpse. Like it was, yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. But you know, we come from Kentucky, and Kentucky is fucking farmlands everywhere, right? There was this one time I was driving home from work, and I had to drive like through this road that's filled with cornfield around me everywhere. So there was no light, there was no houses around there, right? So yeah, it was all completely dark. And then I was driving home with my sister actually, and she and I both saw this at the same time. Um, we saw this green light. We don't know what it is, but it was in the sky. It was a green light, moved really fast, and before it disappeared, it broke into three pieces and then disappeared. Right, that was the first incident, and I looked at her immediately, and she was like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "Yes, I fucking saw that." And so that was the first incident that I had with aliens, right? And then the second incident um, was me driving alone. I think I was driving to Nashville. I don't remember for sure. Yeah, but I was driving alone for sure, driving to somewhere, and I saw the exact same thing. Green light moved really fast, and before it disappeared, it broke into three pieces. All right, that's the second time, and the third time, which this is why like I believe aliens are real. Um, the third time, I saw the same thing again, Ryan. I saw the green light that broke into three pieces before it disappeared. Um, yeah, so I definitely think aliens are real, dude. What about you, Ryan? Have you had any experience with aliens? Have you seen any?
Dude, this is gonna blow your mind, Leo.
Yeah.
I've never told you this. So whatever it was back in the day when I was a kid, we were having a sleepover at Christian's house at a birthday party. They lived way out in the country. And we were camping outside. I saw three green lights in the sky that
Fuck,
burst off,
dude.
just like you said that you saw.
No.
Swear, yeah, dog. That's my only alien experience I've ever had. I think about it all the time. Dude, I remember because like whatever, I was just out there like laying down trying to go to sleep. And I see these three green lights in the sky. They just shoot like so fast, dog. Disappeared. I was like, whoa! Like I was swore I'd seen aliens. I got scared and went and slept inside. I was a
Dude,
pussy.
yeah. So like, you and I both saw the same thing pretty much. I mean,
Yeah, on separate accounts, and
on
you've seen
separate.
it lots of
Yeah,
lots
I've
of
seen it three
times.
times. Three times, dude. So yeah, aliens are fucking real, guys. Aliens are
Weird.
fucking real.
Yeah. Thank you, Leah. You've taught me so much about aliens. I've learned so much from you.
I think you taught me a little more. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. We'll have to bring it back again next week for a new topic, undecided.